Hi guys, this is Irene and this is Heri Lifestyle. Welcome to my channel. In the last video, we were hanging out with Evelyn Kasina, our Family I.T Consultant, and we went through unhealthy content online. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch that video. So she's still here with us and we're continuing with this conversation. By the way, these conversations literally have no end because they're just so broad. Yeah? And in this particular segment, we want to look at digital drama. And yeah, online is all about drama, Evelyn. It's all about tea. There are people who have made a career out of serving tea, out of digital drama. I mean, I think I even need to bring in some drama into my content, you know? Like, we're not going anywhere. I'm not moving fast enough.
We just spice it up.
Spice it. It looks like for you to go anywhere in Kenya, you need to add some spice and some tea and some booty shaking and something to get there. And I'm not doing enough of that.
I think just stick to where you are.
I stick to my lane.
We need sobriety.
We need sobriety, and I stick to my lane and I act my age. You know?
Yeah. Age is a number though. But I think yes, we do need some level of sobriety.
Yeah. So if you're in this channel, just know here we are serving tea.
Sober tea.
I don't want to say sugarless. Sugarless tea. We're serving good tea. Yeah. So tell us about digital drama. I know we've seen it everywhere.
Yeah, it is. I mean, every other week we are served some tea. Yeah. Right? I think if you live in Kenya, you must have caught something that was being done by Huda the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
that was serious.
And I think for us, to be honest, we look forward to tea.
Yeah.
Because the world can be so, stressful.
It's so stressful.
So we are unwinding in the evening, catching up with social media. There has to be some spiced tea somewhere.
And by the way, we're very good at adding the ginger and the garlic and the everything. Because we come and ignite that conversation by our comments, by our sharing, by our moving it along and say, and then telling even people, have you seen the latest? And everyone is like, where? Go here and catch the tea. Like we're good. We're such good tea spreaders.
We really love serving tea. And I think, again, as we said, it can be very boring. It's how our society now is cured. I think also, online and world over, we have this kind of dramas.
Yeah.
And for us in Kenya specifically, now that we are in an election year, we just need
some comic relief.
Yes.
So let's break it down. What is all this? I know now. Let's get serious. We have drama. We have cyberbullying.
Yes.
We have
trolling. There's identity theft in it.
Wow.
Yeah. Very many people have been blackmailed because of. You remember when we were talking about unhealthy content previously, and if you've not watched, please do. When people share intimate content that shouldn't be online, and people want to take advantage of that.
Screenshots.
Yes. Okay. So we kind of blackmail people, which is also digital drama. Yeah, and of course, when people are feeling like my self-esteem really needs some boost. Yes, hurt people. That I learned from Pastor Tom.
Yeah.
Pastor Jemo also says that a lot.
Yeah.
When people feel hurt, they want to spread that feeling so that they can
and some are using it for gain.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I can release some pictures of myself or some information about myself so that I can bring attention to myself. That's even becoming political.
Yes, it is actually, and to some extent it's actually cybercrime because that drama will end up being criminal sometimes in nature. So we have, that broad spectrum. But of course, when it comes to our children, when it comes to families, most of the things we really are going through or we are seeing is a lot of the bullying and the trolling. Yeah. So you find that there are very many of us who don't know how to deal with, and most of these things start offline, by the way, and then we decide, no, I did not have enough of that. I want to put it online, and what we don't understand is when we put some of these things online, it takes a life of its own because very many people now, as you said, we add ginger, we add this and that. We want to just destroy people. And I might also be going through something that is similar, and I just want to see how other people are getting hurt so that I can get ideas. And yes, a lot of, even us adults, but more so children, are finding themselves in these spaces where they're being trashed, they're being trolled, and out of, either retaliation or out of stress, they start ending up bullying others.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And because we've been dealing with the family and dealing with our children, who we have no choice, but not even no choice, it is their time, they'll be online and they're going online through school, through whatever means. What does it mean for the children who are facing bullying? How does it affect them when they face bullying and trolling?
So their self-esteem, first of all, takes a hit. Yeah. And you realize if your child is going through something, and especially with their self-esteem. So for instance, it's a girl who's getting into their teenagehood and, they're developing in certain ways. And somebody wants to make fun of how they're developing. Because of course now that one is also out of their control. How they grow is really out of their control.
Yeah.
Somebody starts making fun. Again, remember when we get onto the internet, it's this global space. So how we in this side of the world grow is very different from how other people grow. And through media, we've tended to see that there's this perception of how beauty is. There's a perception of beauty. There's a perception of weight, right? Such that if you're a bit plumpy, if you're a bit thick, nowadays you can't even say people are fat. You have to be politically correct. So we are a bit thick. There's a word my son uses, and I'm not going to use it now because I don't want him to be trolled. We find that those are the kind of things that our kids tend to consume. And when they don't have outlets or proper outlets, then they go back out there and retaliate. When we are not really being present at home for our children, such that they'll come and tell you, by the way, somebody was being mean to me online, it made me feel uncomfortable. How do I deal with this? We are not there, so they don't know how to deal with these things, right? Or we also just don't know how to properly tell them how to draw boundaries or what is respectful and not. Again, I do believe that there's a point we adults need to understand where the law comes in, because there's a very thin line between making a joke and defamation, right? Because I'll come and tell you something and it will be something that is very injurious to your character. And at that particular point, you can sue me for defamation because you're saying things that are untrue about myself.
So you can literally sue.
Yes, we have a Data Protection Act right now. We have a Cyber Security Act, and I think these are things that we need to now know. These policies are in action in Kenya. We also need to understand that there are also some policies that govern us globally. It's the internet governance. There are policies that are there globally to govern the internet usage, and we need to be able to know where the boundaries are, right?
But
and
there's
also human decency.
Does it work?
Yes.
Because a lot of us avoid anything to do with suing, legal, because I need a lawyer, I need to start filing things that... If I'm not rich and if I don't know people who know people, can I really, really say I'll sue somebody for defamation or trolling or bullying? I don't know. Where
I know there are some very extreme cases that, of course, people have to now go to court and sort them out, because very extreme cases. But then again, when you come back to the social part of it, there are very many things we need to take into consideration when we are posting things online. And especially when you're being, when you're out of frame, when you're not being able to manage your emotions. When you put something online, the internet never forgets, right? I'll give an example of a lady who once, when they were on an internship, this is abroad in a very big tech company, they abused their supervisor when Twitter was 160 words.
It's not?
No, it's 240 now. You remember the time Twitter was Twitter when it was 160? So anytime you're doing a tweet, you needed to be like, I need to fit my words.
Because you only have 100. It wasn't 140. It was 140 characters.
Yes, it was 140 characters. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
So you can imagine a tweet has to be really precise. It has to carry the message home with exactly those. And she posted something and insulted her supervisor. And of course, and she didn't know, she was young, of course. Now she knows that she was young. And the supervisor, of course, now, responded in kind, but very respectful and, because this is work. But for 10 years, she has been looking for a job, almost 10 years.
And she can't find.
But she didn't really know why.
She
until somebody told her, this is it.
That conversation right there is still alive.
Yeah. And even at that point, even though you pulled down that tweet, people have seen it. People who make decisions have seen it. It is in the work community. And that is where we bring in back, instead of even going to the far extreme of the law, because we need to also be cognizant that it exists. We need to start understanding when I'm bullying people, myself.
Because there's the bully and
yes,
the
trolling and yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What is it that I'm going through that makes me feel if I cause this pain to other people, I'll feel good about myself?
Yeah.
Or how do I expect to tell my child that this is wrong when they go on Twitter and follow their mother and see
you doing the
right?
same thing? Yeah.
Because I mean, truth be told, KOT is feared globally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We are ranked as
we are
social.
to reckon
Yes,
with.
you cannot mess with Kenyans on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we cannot be proud of that, to be honest. We can't. Because
unless we are saving situations, and mostly it's not that.
It's not.
Yeah, it's
but
not
even
just
if it
the
is,
wrong way.
I think there's also some level of decorum, even in the in the process of yeah.
So as you're saying, monkey see, monkey do.
Yes.
Younger people are watching us doing this. They're watching our politicians insult each other.
Yes.
They're watching parents go at each other, and so they're just following suit.
Yeah,
and then they say bila chills.
Yes.
Then they're
we are doing us.
Here. When they go at it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it is almost it's combat in nature.
Yeah.
It's just that we are in this combat space behind a keyboard. And you know what they say when we are being keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Nobody can see me. I really don't care. Yeah. But then at the end of that tweet or the end of that conversation, there's a human face that has feelings.
Yeah.
That could be you.
Yeah.
Yes, or it could be somebody else.
Yeah.
And we've seen such extreme cases where people have actually taken their lives. Because they can't take that pressure.
And they're taking it very seriously.
Yeah, they can't take that
our
pressure.
Kids don't know how to filter.
Yeah.
To know this is all the world of the internet has a level of fakeness. And meaning them, they take it to heart, and so many guys commit suicide and all that.
And even now we can see a lot of mental health issues in the rise because people really do not have the skills to cope, right? That I've not been affirmed enough, or I don't affirm myself enough. So when people are constantly telling me about this, about that, I take it in. I'm taking it in. And the garbage is coming in, it's not going out. Or if it's going out, it's going in a very unhealthy way. But then as I'm taking all this in and I don't have healthy ways of channeling it, then my mental health is going to be affected. Obviously, you start seeing people having self-harm. So we're seeing very many people having self-harm, suicidal thoughts. Other people are even going through with the suicide. And it can be very dangerous because the world is so filled with this information, and when we are not helping our children cope, because even maybe ourselves we don't know how to cope, then we are leaving them to themselves, and it can be very destructive. Yeah.
Me, what I've seen is guys want to fly out of the country and they're behaving like this online. Then you go and apply for a visa, especially places like America. And you wonder why you're not getting a visa or you're not getting accepted into certain programs, into certain colleges. It's because you're so trackable online.
It's the footprint.
Your footprint is so loud online. So, I mean, this goes to show whatever you do online, whatever it is you're typing, whatever it is you're saying, whatever exchanges you're having with people, they're being recorded. Is it for eternity?
Oh, yeah. In fact, every time I'm talking to kids, and especially and unfortunately, as I said before, we are firefighters. So here we are coming to put out a fire because something happened. There was this situation. We created a group so that we can just share memes about each other. So we are trolling each other. And it's like, by the way, how would you feel if somebody came and told you all these things? They're like, but they're not. They're like, but you don't understand your small bullies. Because I tell them, no, you're bullying, you're trolling. This is not right. It's like, no, we're just having fun. Okay, so why can't we have fun about you? Let's put this to be you. It's like, no, I'm going to feel bad. I'm like, yes.
Somebody else is
feeling bad. But just imagine, because you see, for also our children, we need to help them understand that sometimes they will see us parents going through these things. Because sometimes, on a day-to-day job, somebody will see you've said something online, they don't agree with it, and they disagree with you in a very, unhealthy way. Our children also see. So sometimes I also tell parents, the same internet we are using to troll other people, our children spend time there. We are in the news talking about all these things. We don't realize that our children are in the same internet. So as much as we want to protect them, how do we protect them? We need to start acting decent. It's about the social fabric, right? It's the social fabric. Yes.
One thing that I have learned, and I guess we all need to learn, is how not to take bait. I feel like on the internet, someone is always baiting you. You say something, and then the comment is supposed to draw you into an argument. It's supposed to draw you into a certain fight. So one of the easiest way to sabotage all this stuff is to just don't respond. I mean, just
that
don't
needs
respond.
maturity.
That needs maturity.
That needs a level of maturity.
Yeah.
It also needs a level of self-awareness. Because actually, even for me, I've had to block so many people because I'm like, first, your energy, I don't want it on my space. Because I'm very aware my platforms are my platforms, they're my responsibility.
Yeah.
And not every day I say things people will agree with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I do accept criticism if it is respectful. Tell me what you need to tell me, but say it respectfully, right? But if I find that there are people who just wait for you to say something, and then, there are those people are always there, by the way, you block them. But as I said, there's a level of maturity that has to come with that. But then you see, when we don't nurture our children to have that, because it's about building resilience. Sisi wenyewe hatuna resilience. Yeah. So what do we? We pour emptiness. Yeah, we are just pouring a lot of emptiness to our children. And of course, because they're feeding onto the same space, they start acting the way we are acting. Yeah.
Let's talk about settings and how we can protect ourselves in our settings. Because we just had a small conversation about this. There's so many people who are sliding into your DM. I mean, and women are sliding into my DM and starting to tell me inappropriate things. And I saw a whole conversation about that. I realized I'm not alone. Everyone is like, why am I getting so many people sliding into my DM? I'm also getting tagged a lot by someone posts very inappropriate content and tags me. I'm getting photos on WhatsApp. I mean, just somebody, especially out of the country, is calling me, is sending me images and nudes and all that. How? What do we know about the settings we have in our phones in different apps and how we need to use them to protect ourselves?
So the good thing is, I am a safety partner with Meta, TikTok, Google. Of course, I am on not literally all, because now I realize there are some platforms I don't know
there
existed.
Are some new ones.
Yes, there are new ones. I'm on most platforms, at least the ones that I know the children around me are in.
Okay.
So two things. The nature of us human beings is microwave at this point. We want things very fast. So if you are not on TikTok today and I told you plugging onto TikTok, you will just tick the terms and conditions without reading the terms and conditions.
Oh,
that is very common for very many people.
I don't think I've ever read any.
Exactly. Very common, because you cannot install that app without ticking
that
terms and conditions. So those are the things. Then number two, when we get there, you just download the app. You don't read the community standards. You move on. What do I need? Profile photo, put. This and this, put. You don't go through the settings. And it is important, especially for us first, to go through our own settings to understand what they mean. Yeah. So that even when your children are getting onboarded onto this platform, okay, so you're like, no, there's no chatting. This is where we are not having the chat platforms.
Okay.
The DMs,
don't have
those DMs.
Them.
So like now, TikTok, for instance, if your child was to get onto TikTok today, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but let me say it because the children are not watching, but it's good for parents too. When your child gets onto TikTok at age 13 plus, and they put their age and it's acceptable, right?
Yeah.
Their DM is locked until they're 16 by the system.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That is a safety feature.
That's a safety feature.
So they do whatever it is.
They can lie so that they can get their...
And that's why. But then you see, of course, like them, they're excited. They don't want to miss on TikTok. They'll put, but then they will not be able to chat.
Yeah.
Which is something that will protect them until they're at that age.
Yeah.
But of course, you should not wait until they're 16 to have that conversation. You need to start having conversations around no chatting.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with gaming platforms. You can let your children play, block the chats. Block this. You have to go to the settings to see if the servers are open for your children to create private servers to go into private rooms. Those things exist. Yeah.
Can I give you all my gadgets in my house?
So now, when we're just talking about like the tagging, it's a simple setting.
You've shown me that setting.
Because you need to be able to understand, is my account public or private, right? If I'm in business, you want it to be private, to be public. But then to what level do I allow people into my space?
Yeah.
It is all in your settings. So you just go to your settings, sit down, and go word by word. One of the things like I know people keep asking me, and then I'm like, me, I don't get news, like political news on my feeds. From 2007, I put the profanity. There's a profanity blocker. It's a filter.
Okay. Where?
And on your settings, like Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
Even
Twitter.
Yeah. So the profanity blocker is supposed to be to block profane language.
Okay.
But because it has no limit, I put everything that I do not want to see. So if it's a politician, if it's Irene, if it's who, I put all that there and I put the feature on such that if this content is just like on the public domain, it just doesn't come on my feed. Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, my feed is what I want it to be. I am very aware of what I want to consume. So you just need to spend a little time on your settings.
And these settings are also in your TV.
Oh yeah,
everywhere there are settings.
Small things like timer. Like I don't want my kids to spend so much time. Put a timer and just say block from this time to this time, or put 2-hour timer. You know, it's the digital wellness kind of thing. Yes, there's an app called Digital Wellness. In fact, that one is a phone app, but also the applications themselves have that particular feature. It's a digital wellness. I want my screen time to start at 9. I want my like for my phone, my WhatsApp, not my WhatsApp, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They don't come on until like 12.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah. So it keeps putting a password, and then my daughter, she put a screen and like, Mommy, you're not supposed to be on social media. Yes, it just comes on my because I can put a password and
because you can waste a lot of time just on TikTok and on IG looking at what everyone is saying and all that. So even we need to regulate ourselves, protect ourselves, but also regulate ourselves. Because how do we regulate our children if we ourselves are consumed?
And also just blocking individuals, because you see, if you go online and realize this is a person who is filled with the drama, I don't want to see them.
No, I think let's just stop there and say, let's normalize blocking people, including blocking, sorry, I don't want to say this, including blocking acquaintances, friends, or anyone who you just feel
their vibes are not my vibe.
Because there are people who post. And let me tell you, Evelyn, I start typing. I have an emotional response because they trigger me. The word is trigger. They trigger me, and then I delete. I just delete everything because I'm like, are you sure, Irene, you want to go into that drama? So me, I've normalized blocking people.
In fact, may tell children it should not end at blocking. Block and report.
Okay, what does that report do?
Actually, so if I'm reporting like unhealthy content, of course we have like the national SAT in Kenya that is responsible. It's
I like that you're saying of course.
Okay, of course.
Me and everyone who's watching have no idea. We have what?
So the Communications Authority of Kenya has
CCK,
it has a national SAT that is responsible for cyber incidents. So things that you feel are incidences that you need to report on, like bullying, identity theft. You remember this time of swim swaps, those ones. People was swapping swims and withdrawing monies and stuff like that. You feel like you're being bullied and you want to report somebody. You just write to them at incidents@kesat.co. You shall put it on there, right? You shall write it down, right? Yes, I will do that. So now when you report it, and it's something that is being reported by very many people, it's flagged.
It will be flagged.
But also specifically when it is for there are incidences that we report that are for minors. Like it is a sexual exploitation content regarding a minor. I don't know if you have seen a video of a child who was being coached to smoke. I don't know if you saw it. It's a political video. And the thing is, it is put in a group with like 20 people. These 20 people start sharing it. We become part of the problem of sharing this stuff.
So quick
we forget to protect the child. The child is a minor. We forget. We think it is funny. Oh, Wajakoya is pushing bank and this child is smoking. It's a child who, even you look at that child, they're not even 5. So I keep telling people, if this thing makes you feel uncomfortable, report it.
But
let us be as many people as possible.
First of all, when I report, okay, you've told us about CCK and all that. But when I report, let's say on Facebook, where does that go? To Zuckerberg's house. I mean,
of course, they have reporting systems. And then the way they work is that we have regions. So we have Africa, we have the EMEA market, so sub-Saharan Africa, we have Turkey, we have different markets. So those different markets have people who monitor those responses.
I find like the process is very long. Because when I say
we have to verify,
then I have to. Then it brings another window of what was it inappropriate. When I reach there, I mean, choke.
You see, the thing is, and also for them, they have to do due diligence. Of course. And some of these things now, like for instance, I'll give you an example of children created a platform that needs to be brought down. Who is going to bring down that platform? Do I know who created it? if it's easier for me to tell that child to bring down that platform, it would work faster than me taking the route of reporting, because I have to report the incident to CA, then they have to take it up.
Yeah.
And then, the DCI will be involved, and, they have to do their due diligence. And that's why it takes time.
Yeah.
It has to take time. And of course, they have to know to look at all their the community guidelines. Did it violate?
Yeah, did it violate?
Are we also infringing on the privacy of the person who created?
And the group. And
exactly. That's why.
Ooh.
And that's why when we're having this conversation, the buck stops with us and morality.
Yeah.
Because by the time we're getting to that really far level, I mean, is it necessary?
I think what I'm hearing from you is that we as individuals, we need to be involved and willing to go that mile of, if it's reporting, you report all the way. When you see something inappropriate, you do actually take action. Because I feel like the internet feels like this amorphous thing up there. When we meet these things, we just move on to the next thing. We don't even think we have any role.
Until it happens to you, by the way. Because I feel like also some of the times, which is really unfair, when somebody's account is hacked and you've seen, like I tend to note those things very quickly. Your account has been hacked because somebody will send me a DM and then is like, Evelyn, send me money. And then I'm like, no, Irene has never asked me for money.
Yes, that has happened too.
So instead of me first calling your number,
to find
it's like, are you sure you're the one who asked?
Yeah.
So we are caught very quickly, by the way.
Because we start
getting pissed.
Because it will not even be Evelyn. It could be your mom or your brother, someone who evokes an emotion in you, and you're like, hey, let me do this.
So sometimes when you're saying we need to be involved, it is also just not waiting for these things to happen to us to take action. Be that person's keeper and say, by the way, I think this person's account was hacked. Can I tell them to put like two-factor authentication? Now, what is two-factor authentication? You've put your password and it asks you like to verify if you're the one who put,
through your phone,
through your email and stuff like that. So that it's now giving your account a second layer of protection. Yes, exactly. So sometimes it is just the simple things, but then we don't take them into account. Then of course, because we don't take them into account, how do we help our children?
We can't help our children. This conversation, I know we are talking about when helping our children, but I think we as adults need a lot of help in these areas.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What happens in groups, in like Facebook groups? Because you are already in a group and there are admins there. If there is any sort of bullying or inappropriate content, are you supposed to report to the admins or just report in the same way by clicking those?
I think the same. You can do both, because the admins have the power to either pull down that content, but then if they pull down that content, you can't report it. Right? So report it first.
And then tell the admin this and this is happening in this group. Yes.
Of course, I think because I own a group and I'm very aware, like if people tag, the same thing I told you, when somebody tags you, you need to be able to allow that tag to go on your feed.
Yeah,
so if you can put that stop.
I tick, I want this tag, or I reject it.
Yes, exactly.
Because I'm facing a lot of that, being tagged by strange people.
Yeah, and then of course in groups, it is very important if admins put the community rules, the harassment, because of course there are so many things that will have solicitation, because there are people who will come into a group and take advantage. Oh, this group has like 1,000 people. Let me ask for money.
And how there's a lot of people who are complaining about that. Someone came and asked for money here, we gave money for this, we gave money for this.
Then there was no accountability.
There was no accountability. Now even stop giving people money in the supermarket.
I hear you.
There's someone in every supermarket, they're asking for money, help the children, do this, let's buy pads for these children. But I always feel, I have no idea if that's what you're actually doing. There's no accountability for that, And so even when you want to help, you're like, I'm not sure. Is this going to the right place somewhere? We're just being called.
But you see, I think, as you said in the beginning, when we are on the internet, there are the people who are using it for good. Definitely. Cyber criminals are
and using money. What about finding your card is being used somewhere and money is being drawn out of your account, or your card has been used to pay for a transaction somewhere?
That one is easily dealt with at the bank. I found it's easier that way.
But the banks are so... I feel like
because if they deactivate your account at that particular point, then it becomes
I know that happened to us once, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't feel like the bank was being very quick. Sometimes you feel like people have to go and tag banks online and say, bank, listen,
on Twitter. If you do it on Twitter,
and then
they will respond. Yes,
they're not being very reactive and all that.
Yeah, so that happens.
Yeah.
We also kind of have to bully them to act.
Yeah, that's what is so interesting.
See now what the society is making us do. Yeah. We have to be pushed to the corner and then start react.
Yeah. Well, this is such another very, very huge topic, and I feel like as families and as individuals, as parents, we really need to learn what is going on online about cyberbullying. What did we talk about? Identity theft. We didn't even go into being what do you call it? Catfishing and all that. There's so many things that are going on online to do with security and how we remain safe in that space. Yeah.
And also I think in terms of the online drama, all these things all these things start from a point of vulnerability or that gap, because there's something that you're looking for and it is just in the wrong space. I keep saying, especially for children and even for us adults, when somebody is being a bully, that bully, we need to take them into account as much as the victims, because even they are hurting. It's just that they're using the wrong approach to resolve their issues. Yeah. So of course there is a lot of offline kind of help that you need to give these people. There are people who have such trauma in their lives that they don't know how to maneuver apart from causing pain. Yeah. So
so in conclusion, what shall we say about online drama?
In conclusion, two things, and especially parents, for us parents, and as we are helping our children also because they're in this space, there is a helpline that I know very many people don't know about. It's 116.
Wow.
116. So 116, right? Yes. So 116 is the childline helpline. But of course, yes,
we're calling
and it's a toll-free line. What I tell many parents, and it's good I'm on this platform so that I can still share this information, is if you can write that 116 number and put it on the fridge, because your children will always open the fridge or behind the toilet, but the fridge is very effective. Just put it on the fridge, and what you're doing for your child at that point is, when you're not around and they feel there's something I call a red flag feeling, and a red flag feeling is something that makes them feel uncomfortable or anxious or scared when they're online. They just call that number. Somebody is going to help them either calm down, resolve a situation. If it's a matter of life and death, they're going to be helped. That is a number, even you can try it today to make sure it is working. 116.
I'm going to try it.
Okay. Then another thing, obviously, and especially in this day and age where we cannot take everything lightly, when you feel like people are trolling you and it is out of control, report. Report.
Because not to say remove yourself out of that.
You can remove yourself, but I believe as a society we also need to start seeing action being taken on some of these things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because there are people who are perpetual bullies. And they feel because nobody has been charged, we can keep getting away with these things. And then until you hear somebody took their life, somebody did this, and some of these things are really irreversible.
So reporting is important so that we can see action being taken, and that action itakuwa funzo ili iwe funzo
kwa wengine. Exactly. So that email, we're going to put it down, the incident email at the KESAT, so that you actually get to know, I did my part, I reported. Let me wait to see what will happen, but I didn't keep quiet. And if you feel it is too much, you don't want to follow these trolls, block and report, or just block. Get yourself out. Save your energy. Save your energy.
And let's stop taking the internet so seriously. Guys, that the world of the internet and everything that is happening online is cosmetic. It may not be very real. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it kill yourself or make a drastic bad decision because you're seeing things happening online. It is an artificial space.
True.
So we need to know how to interact with it ourselves and then teach that to our children.
Exactly.
Let them not take it literally and start comparing themselves to others or feeling pressure. So and so has this, I don't have this. It's not a real space.
And also I feel like we have more work to do at home by affirming our children, because when we are not affirming them and letting them know they're beautiful, they're just the way they
That's
are.
the way they are.
They're, they deserve love and all these kind of things. They start looking for these things in the wrong spaces.
And they will find it.
Oh yeah,
that's
they
the
will.
worst part.
So if we are able to do our part as parents offline, when they go online, they even have they draw their own boundaries. So, and it is easier for us to help them in that way.
Yeah.
We also need to help them, tell them that, you know what, you need to be an upstander when you see things are happening that you don't appreciate and you don't care for.
Yeah.
You tell this, but no, the same way you tell them outside when you're playing physically, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Tell them online. Yeah.
If you don't change, I'm going to
report you.
In fact, they should just learn to report.
Exactly. So I think it is something we need to be very aware about, but just put that number for your children. Even for yourself. You're feeling, it's called a red flag feeling.
A red flag
I'm uncomfortable. I'm anxious. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Call it. Yeah.
And get some help.
So that at least now we can start seeing that even the government that we are entrusting with our lives, literally, they're taking care of us. Yes.
Well, Evelyn, thank you so much. This is yet another topic that almost has no end. What we're trying to do is trigger you to think about this.
Yes.
We are talking about digital drama. We are triggering you to think about these things. Do more research. Send your questions. Share below what you have experienced. We'll do our best to answer these questions. I think we'll have to bring you back and deal with these things broken down.
Only if there's chicken.
Okay. Chicken. We're preparing chicken. All of you are changaring for this chicken. This is Irene. This is Heri Lifestyle. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you, Evelyn, for joining us. We are talking about digital drama. I hope you've learned something from this and you'll take the appropriate action to protect yourself and to protect your children. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment, like this video, share it with someone else. Thank you very much. I'll see you in our next video. Kwaherini.